Hey, what's going on? It's Sean. So, in my last video that I published earlier this year, I had gone through a bunch of the photos that I had printed in 2022 and we looked over them together on camera and I got a chance to discuss some of my favorites. I really liked that. I liked exploring those photos and showing them as prints and really kind of like feeling the tactileness of the paper. So I thought I would do that again here today. So in this video, we're going to look at some of my favorite prints from February and March of this year, 2023. Unfortunately, my January was kind of slow, personal work-wise, so I don't have much to show for that. But I think this will be a cool one, so let's dive in. So the first image I want to share is actually the only image that I shot in color. This one here was actually done with my iPhone 14 Pro Max, if I got that right. This is actually from inside the UN building's grounds, and I photographed this as I was leaving an event that I had done video for there. And I loved just that little sliver of skyline back here, as well as like these vertical lines and how it contrasted with the blue and the orange. And then you got to see these lines here that kind of mimic these lines here. And I just thought it was a fascinating scene. So the other images that I made are all in black and white. This image here is actually a multiple exposure that I had made at the Lower East Side skate park. I used my Panasonic S5 for this, and I had my, I think the 20 to 60 on here, and I knew that I wanted to shoot how this wall ride happens. So this guy had come through and he'd made a couple passes, and I was very interested in actually getting a scene of this. So as he came through, I had it on continuous shooting, and I was able to snap a bunch of pictures as he came up and then went back down. And then I pulled it into Affinity Photo from there, and I was able to just like paint in the parts where I actually wanted to see him so that he was kind of like layered in the scene. And I think it came out really good, and I really love this one. The next one is a street scene. So I did this with my monochrome and the 28mm 2.8, which is actually down for the count right now because I broke the focusing tab on it, which is really sad. Apparently it's a common problem with those, but very sad. It's my favorite lens. This one was just this lady standing in Wall Street. The sun angle was really nice, and she was kind of looking off, contemplating, I guess, which direction she was headed, and I just loved the scene. So if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know that I have some weird affinity for pigeons in this city. Pigeons are plentiful in New York, and I absolutely love photographing them. They're so wild, and so this is out by Thompson Square Park again with the monochrome, again with the 28mm, and they had taken off, and I just quickly raised the camera up and took a few frames, and this was one of my favorite ones, just them silhouetted in the background. The next one I thought was an interesting scene that I had come across. I was out working on my project and I came across this. So the light was really nice, but then we have like one turtle here, three turtles here, and then a pigeon. And it looks like the pigeon's kind of like leading these turtles down the road. And I thought that was really fascinating. And then, and I love the direction of the light. I just thought it was such an interesting scene. Maybe not the most intense or incredible photo, but it was one that I absolutely loved making. So those are all the ones that I had made in February. And if we move on to March, I went to an event. It was a film event. I took my Leica monochrome, and then I also took my Instax because I like shooting a lot of Instax. And I made some photos there. So this is again with the monochrome. This is just a table set up in one of the studios that they had there. And I loved the light coming in. It was just absolutely fantastic. And then I was able to get a portrait there. So this is the same room, the same cyc wall, but just replacing the chair. And my friend here jumped into the photo. I'll link them below. You can check them out. I love the direction of light. I got this one on the monochrome here with the 28 millimeter, but then I also got a photo on the Instax, which actually came out really nice. This one is from my project, 99 Cent Dreams. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen me tease this project here and there. So I've been going around New York City and I've been photographing a lot of popular skate spots over the decades. And this one here is just pieces of the Brooklyn Banks, which is a very popular skate park. I guess it wasn't designated a skate park, but it was a skating place for a lot of people throughout the 90s. It shut down about 10 years ago, but it's currently being reopened. So I'm working on a series trying to photograph what this process looks like as it reopens to become another spot for the skaters. I really love this because this is like different sides of the bridge. And then, so this is the Brooklyn Bridge that we're standing under here. And then I made a triptych out of it. And I really kind of liked how the angles just kind of like flowed together to create this really fascinating scene. Pretty recently, we flew to St. Louis to stay with people for a little while. And on the way back, I had the monochrome and the 28, and we were flying in to LaGuardia from St. Louis, and I managed to sit on the correct side of the plane for this flight, and I was just over the moon trying to take pictures. Everything came out a little soft because you're, photographing through the glass of this plane window, but it was a pretty nice day, pretty clear. You could definitely tell there's some haze in the city and some haze off in the distance here, or some cloud cover. But I thought it was such a neat photo. You get to see downtown Manhattan here popping up with the rivers kind of coming through in between everything. And I was very excited to just take this picture. This was actually my first time flying into New York, and I thought it was really fun to see everything. So. And then the last one is this photo that I had made with my friend Sadiq. He's a local skateboarder here in New York. I'll link his profile below. He's very, very talented. So this is a photograph of him jumping over the Apple at Lower East Side Skate Park. I thought it was really fascinating. So this is again with the monochrome, again with the 28 millimeter. And I basically just like had the camera in hand and I'm standing as close as I can get without getting in the way. And then as he goes to do the trick, I just kind of like threw the camera in as close as I could and grabbed a photo of it, kind of shooting blind. I had a general idea of where things were going to come, but you can tell like the crop on it is just a little tight, which I actually personally love. I love that you're so close to him that you're cutting off, a part of his head there and a wheel here. Absolutely love it. This is actually the second photo of this kind that I've made. I made another one of these last year on film that I really love too. And it's fascinating to see the comparison between the film photos and the monochrome photos. So lately I've been doing a lot of work around skateboard photography in New York. So I've been adding some books to my collection. This is Full Bleed, which is a book about New York skate photography. And then I got this one recently from Dashwood, Back to Mystery City. A really fascinating book. Wow, I didn't realize 2010 was when this came out, but it's just about following these skateboarders. But I've been really interested in skateboard photography for a while now, and I was super excited to pick these books up. Hopefully I can share some more books. I've got Ed Templeton's Wires Crossed coming in the next couple months or a couple weeks even. And who knows what other books I might find along the way. So if you're interested in following along some of the photos that I'm making from the day-to-day, you can follow me on social media, either on Instagram or over on Glass at Sean P. Bruce. You can also check out my website at seanpbruce.com. Thanks so much for watching.